Excellency.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Thank you.
welcome to Third Eye African TV. It's our studio.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. So we shall be discussing many issues, Nigerian issues, African issues, diplomacy and all that stuff.
Okay, that's very good.
Yes. Welcome, Martin.
This is my first time appearing of Third Eye African
African
TV.
TV.
That's very good.
Welcome on board, sir.
Thank you. Wish
Yes.
you the best.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello once again and welcome to the program, The Veteran. It is a program in which we look at the lives and times, the contributions of men and women in authority, those who have traveled to ensure society is better for it. Once again, my name is Ben Shamang, your regular host of the program, and you are on to Third Eye Africa TV. We are at the Central Business District in Abuja. And as usual, it's not for the anchorman to do much of the talking, since we're talking about rather the biography from the man himself, from the guest himself or herself, who will always be doing the talking. And we felt we should invite a diplomat, a career diplomat, who served 9 countries. He was in America, he was in Sudan, and many other countries. It's not for me to say all of that. He will himself let the cat out of the bag, as the white man would say. So I welcome on board Ambassador Suleiman Dahiru. You're welcome to Third Eye Africa TV.
Thank you for having me.
So, who really is Ambassador Suleiman Dahiru?
Well, I start by saying Ambassador Suleiman Dahiru was born on 11th July 1946 in Tula, in present Gombe State. I had my primary school education in Tula, junior primary school actually. Then went to Kaltungo Senior Boarding Primary School. I finished from there and got my first leaving school certificate. From there, I passed the common entrance examination. And because of the high marks I got, I was slated for Barewa College.
That's in Zaria, Kaduna State.
In Zaria, in Kaduna State. I went for the interview in Gombe, and it was a white man who came for the interview. So when I was taken in, I sat down in front of him. He looked at me, then said, "You got the highest marks in Gombe division." Gombe then was a division under Bauchi province. But on account of your age, I was 15 then. You see, they wanted only 13 to 14-year-old students. So 1 year of age difference knocked me out of attending Barewo College, despite coming first in Gombe Division. So at that time, the policy was that if you passed the examination to Barewo College, but you were not taken during the interview, you automatically go into the provincial secondary school. So I was supposed to attend Bauchi Provincial Secondary School. But my headmaster in the primary school, Mr. S.A. Ibinola late now, advised me to go to Bauchi Teachers College instead. He gave me his reasons why I should go to Bauchi Teachers College instead of Bauchi Provincial Secondary School. Since I was very close to him, I went to Bauchi Teachers College. When I went in, I found that myself, Garba Zambuk, Baba Akuyam, we were the smallest students in our set. Some others were even married before they came in.
Meanwhile, in Balewa, you would have been the longer, the oldest.
So I did my 5 years straight teachers grade 2 course at Bauchi Teachers College, and I passed very well. So I went back to Tula. It was then Tangalawaja Native Authority. So the very primary school I attended, I was sent there to teach. So I taught some very brilliant pupils, including late Senator Idris Abubakar. So I now decided to further my education. So I applied to Advanced Teachers College, Kano. So my application was considered, and I was asked to go to Teachers College, Kafancha, to sit for examination. At that time, the trains were moving. So from Tula, I went to Gombe. I went to the train station and we paid for my ticket and got myself in Kafancha. I never knew where Kafancha was in my life, but I managed to find my way. I sat for the exam and I passed. I was called for interview. I attended the interview and I was admitted.
Now, let me shock you, Excellency.
Yes.
That same Kafanchan, that same railway that you used from Gombe and through Jos came to Kafanchan, all the rail tracks have been stolen.
Oh my God.
That is where we are, corruption.
That is part of the degeneration of Nigeria. I always tell my children that I never knew in my life that Nigeria would degenerate to this level.
Now, from College of Advanced Teachers College in Kano,
yes.
So you moved probably to...
Yes, from there I went, it was a 3-year course. As I was finishing the course, I applied to Ahmadu Bello University, Lagos University, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, for admission. Fortuitously, when the 3 months period I was teaching in Bauchi Government Secondary School, where I was supposed to be a student, I was playing football for Bauchi Wunti football team. I'm not being immodest, but all those who knew me knew that I was very good in football. So we went to Maiduguri to play football against Yerwa United or Yerwa United. I was lucky, I played very well, scored the only goal. And Dr. Ibrahim Tahir, late. After the match, he came to me. He said, "From where are you?" I said, "I'm from Bauchi province, from Gombe division, but I am now teaching at Bauchi Secondary School for the past 3 months. And I'm waiting for letter of admission to either ABU or Nsukka or Lagos." So he said, "On Monday, I will be in Zaria. I will be sending telegram to you." Those days were very good. You receive telegram from wherever you are. So that Sunday, I got a telegram. And what did the telegram say? It said, "Report to ABU. Go and see Dr. Chris Abashia and say you are from me and that you should be admitted." So I went to Zaria, asked for Dr. Chris Abashia's office. I saw him and I gave him the telegram. He said, "You are from Dr. Tahir?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Dr. Tahir is famous in this university. Anything about him, nobody plays with it or jokes with it." So he immediately took me to Faculty of Arts and Social Science. I already had scholarship from the Northeast government. But let me digress a bit. My intention was actually to go to University of Nigeria, Nsukka. But when the Northeast Scholarship Board awarded me the scholarship, they put tenable at ABU only. So I went, Dr. Chris Abashia took me to the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Professor Bambri, one Indian. We got there, I was giving automatic admission.
Now, let me also inject something here.
Yes.
You're talking about Dr. Bombri, one Indian
Yes.
in ABU.
He was the
Dean
Dean
of Social Science.
Yes.
Now, today, you don't see these foreigners in Nigerian universities.
Yes, it is because of the way things have turned. When I was in ABU, when I got admitted, most of those who taught me were foreigners. In fact, even when I was at Bauchi Teachers College, the majority of the teachers came from either England, Pakistan, India, and the United States of America. So it was a very sound education that one received from those foreigners.
So what went wrong? Today we don't find them. Even foreign students are not eager to come to Nigeria.
The Naira has become worthless. If you are paying maybe 3,000 naira at that time, 3,000 naira was a lot of money. But now, if you have 100,000 naira, it is nothing. If you take 300,000 naira and go into Wuse market, you will not realize when the money finishes, but you have not bought many things. And you can look at it. We just celebrated the Salah, the Layya. Ram was going for over 1 million naira. How many people can afford 1 million naira to buy a ram to slaughter? Even if you get a ram of 300,000, it will be so small. So there has been total degeneration of how things were and now. I'll give you one example. When I joined the Foreign Service in August 1975, I applied for car loan. At that time, fresh graduates were given loans, and within 1 month of joining any service at that time, you will start driving your car. I applied for my entitlement of 3,600. So with the money I saved when I did my NYSC between 74, 75, and the little money the ministry paid me as closing allowance, I added 800 naira, making a total of 4,400 naira. With 4,400 naira, I went to Infra Motors. I bought a brand new Datsun 180K. That was the time Datsun 180K came into Nigeria. It was a beautiful car. 4,400. And now, 4,400 naira will not even buy you a battery.
In fact, it can't take you to Bombay today. By public transport, it can't take you to Bombay. So let us look at your career as a public, public servant in terms of your career, foreign affairs, and all that. How did you start that?
Now, when I was graduating from ABU in 1974, there was practice at that time. At that time, there were only 5 universities in Nigeria, no private university. The Federal Civil Service Commission will go around the universities to interview prospective graduates. Everybody will fill the form, you indicate the post you want. Normally, you have 1 choice, 2nd choice, 3rd choice. So I completed my form that I wanted to be a foreign service officer. So they came for the interview, led by late Sule Katabu, who was chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission. So they did the interview and they left. We graduated and we were posted out for our NYSC program. So I was in the 2nd set. The first set began 73-74. The 2nd set, 74-75. I was in the 2nd set. So I did my NYSC at Ode Irele in the present Ondo State. But at that time, it was the old Western State. So when I finished my NYSC, I just got, before I finished, I got a letter that I have been appointed as a foreign service officer and that I should report to the Ministry of External Affairs.
And that was Lagos.
Yes, at Lagos. So from Odeirele, I just went straight to Lagos, went and completed all the processes and started work.
And so how was the starting point like? Maybe you must have been having some culture shock. From north, you went to the west, via NYC, and starting with Lagos.
Oh,
And
yes,
so-
it was, you see, throughout my life, I never went down the south until when I went for my NYSC. But then I just told myself that I'm a Nigerian. I should be ready to be in any part of Nigeria. And in fairness, at that time, Nigeria was very good. The kind of tribalism we see now, the kind of religious difference we see now, they were not there. Most of my friends were Christians. I never felt out of place. I felt quite comfortable. And the lady I wanted to marry was a Christian. It didn't work, but I didn't see anything wrong in marrying somebody that didn't share the same religion with me. After all, you are not marrying religion, you are marrying a human being. So I had this mindset. But then things started happening that I started asking myself, why is this type of thing happening? Because when I was doing my NYSC, I felt free with everybody. And then one day, one of the teachers said, oh, this is my first time of seeing a northern graduate. And I felt offended. So I told him, it is because you don't know anything. You said you attended Ibadan University. At Ibadan University, didn't you hear that Professor E. Abubakar graduated with first-class honors in mathematics? He's from the north. Didn't you hear Professor Jibril Aminu graduated as the best graduating medical student? During your stay in Ibadan, you didn't hear about these northerners? You are talking about me. So, it is very unfortunate that you are talking like this. You are educated, but you are not literate.
Okay, His Excellency, we will come to that. We've been discussing about your life here in Nigeria, and we'll just go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll now look at the foreign service in Nigeria, what it takes. When Nigeria sends troops to foreign countries, is it just for there to be world peace? Is it supposed to be that Nigeria must gain something? Like Liberia, for example, Sierra Leone, for example, after the war. Did Nigeria go there to ensure that it participated in reconstruction physically? Nigeria sent troops to Darfur, and what's the mission of Nigeria to Darfur, for example? Are we gaining from all of this? We'll come to all of that. And once again, my name is Ben Shaman, and the program is the veteran. And we have Ambassador Suleiman Dahiru, who is here with us in the studio. Thank you once again for coming. Welcome back. Now, you have shown us the culture shock back home, but you had to go to abroad. You went abroad, went to many countries, including Sudan, including America, and many other countries like that. And now, let's look at foreign service trust, the crux of the matter. When Nigeria sends ambassadors like you abroad, you were in Sudan. What was it that Nigeria was looking for from Sudan via you as the ambassador?
Now, when you open diplomatic mission in the first place, there must be a diplomatic mission before you appoint an ambassador. Nigeria has almost 100 diplomatic and consular missions all over the world. These diplomatic missions and consular posts are open to cement relationship between the two countries. No country is an island unto itself. You will need other countries when the time comes. So you want to be on friendly terms with all countries of the world. That is why you open diplomatic missions. And when you open, you want to project how your country is. The diplomats you send out will project Nigeria in the countries they are posted to. The ambassador is the head of the place. The ambassador is given a station charter, what Nigeria expects him to achieve in his posting in his country of primary assignment. So, with an ambassador around, he goes around to cultivate the authorities in his country of accreditation. So you find that there's always good relationship. And when Nigeria wants something, it can easily approach that country. Please, we want this or we want that. And if we are talking of the United Nations, you also want certain things from the United Nations, and it may go for voting. And the number of votes you get depends on your own clout. If you have a strong clout, you find that you get what you want. But if your clout is so low, or because you don't even have representation in many countries, the next thing those countries say, what do we care about them? That is why you open diplomatic missions. You are looking at transfer of technology. You are looking at cultural exchange, educational exchange, technological exchange, a lot of things.
And so when you were in Sudan, for example,
yes,
what really did you bring back home as an ambassador, or the image, let me call it this way, of Nigeria in Sudan?
Now, first, there are about 7.5 million Nigerians.
7.5 million
At the time I was there, living in Sudan. Some of them have...
How long ago? Which year was that?
That was 2005,
No.
6, 7.
7.5 million
Yes.
Nigerians are living in Sudan.
In Sudan, at the time I was there.
That's more than the population of Benin Republic.
Okay. Now, these Nigerians are carrying out their legitimate businesses of farming, trading, and the rest of it. So, you have a responsibility to organize them so that they don't become a nuisance and in the process earn a bad name for Nigeria. And as I said earlier, you are also thinking of what you can get for Nigeria in Sudan. Fortunately, at that time, Sudan was very peaceful. So we got a lot of Nigerian students going to Sudan to read.
So scholarship is the main thing.
Yes, especially medicine, because the standard of education in Sudan, I must confess, is very high. So don't be surprised if you go to some of the hospitals in Abuja here, you find some of the doctors graduated from universities in Sudan.
Now, sorry to cut you short. Now we have Sudan that is at war with itself, citizens against citizens, and Nigerian soldiers are there. And so, I mean, when you look at the war in Sudan, man's inhumanity against his fellow human, what really went wrong in Sudan?
I must confess that it is very unfortunate that Sudan has become what it has become. But then, if you look at the situation, I served in Sudan 2 times, and I was a keen observer of the things going on. In the first place, there is injustice.
Meted by who to who?
The Arab population against the non-Arab population. Based on my own experience, I can say that if you are in Sudan and you are not an Arab, you are almost nothing. The war in Darfur. People of Darfur, unlike people in South Sudan, did not rebel because they wanted to break away from Sudan. They rebelled because they wanted justice and fairness.
So they want inclusiveness.
Yes.
Inclusivity.
And as is well known, where there is no justice and fairness, there will not be peace. So, at the time the problem in Darfur started, the Sudanese army was bogged down with the war with the South Sudanese. So what they did, they created the Janjaweed to fight the black Africans occupying Darfur. And this ruthless Janjaweed went and started massacring people, confiscating their ancestral land and everything. Terrible thing, burning their houses, stealing their cows and other domestic animals. I went to Sudan many times. The first time, I went to Darfur many times. The first time, from the air when I saw the damage, I couldn't control myself. I was shedding tears. Man's inhumanity to the
man's
terminology.
Inhumanity to his fellow man.
Yes. So, later on, the Sudanese government got Hamdan Dagalo to subjugate the people of Darfur. And he went in ruthlessly. But one thing about Dagalo, it is said that he is not even an Arab. People say he is Zagawa. And the Zagawa ethnic group, you have part of them in Chad and part of them in Darfur. So they appointed him to subjugate the Darfur people. So he created the rapid force to subjugate. He did a lot of dastardly things that no human being will ever think of.
Now,
So-
you're saying those who are really black African compared with the Arabs in Sudan. Now, this general you're talking of, the Gallo,
Yes.
is virtually therefore looking to be president of Sudan. Is it
Of
possible?
course, he wants to topple the Sudanese government or the Sudanese military government, but he has not succeeded in doing so. And when he started this rebellion, he was number 2 in the hierarchy of the Sudanese government. But when he started the rebellion, he had to withdraw. They removed him as the number 2 man. And now he has done a lot of damage that I don't think people will forgive him for what he has done and is still doing. I don't know how Sudan will get out of the mess, because when you have this kind of situation and you have foreign powers that are instigating both sides, it's difficult to come to an early settlement. Who will come to settle the problem? That is the issue.
And in the midst of that, Nigeria has continuously been sending peace missions there. Nigerian soldiers are there. General Goy was there. General Okonkwo was there. General Cyril Ehekire was there. Presently, we have General Sanya there. So, what really is Nigeria doing there?
You see, Nigerians are there to observe peace, not to enforce peace. There's a difference between observing and enforcing. So, even if the mandate of the United Nations is going to change from peace observers to peace enforcement, the number of troops to carry out such a mission is not enough. But the thing is that I visited the Nigerian troops when I was ambassador in Sudan. They are working under extremely difficult conditions. But then they are representing Nigeria. No matter the difficulty, they have to give their best, and they are giving their best.
Okay, now, will you, in your own opinion, say, okay, if the situation is so dire, they are so dangerous, so difficult for them, is it better for them to come and fight insecurity here back home?
No, this is for the government to decide.
But in your opinion?
But in my opinion, the situation in Sudan is so dire. The Nigerian troops that are there are only maintaining peace. They are not there to enforce or observe what is going on. Like when I was there, a Nigerian captain just disappeared. He was not seen. But we suspected the Sudanese government was responsible for his disappearance.
A
Because-
commissioned Nigerian captain
Yes,
in
because-
service over there
Yes.
disappeared.
Yes, because at the time he was abducted, the area was controlled by the Sudanese army, not
By the Janjaweed.
by the Janjaweed. So the Nigerians that are there are operating under very difficult conditions. But at the same time, we always say big brother, big brother, big brother. So we are trying to help, even where the things are extremely difficult. But then there are many other countries that contributed troops to Darfur. If Nigeria should withdraw its troops, it will not look nice when other countries still have their own troops.
Okay, let's withdraw our discussion from Sudan, Darfur, and now come to Nigeria, back home. At independence, we always say, Tafa Balewa will say, Africa remains the focal point of Nigeria's foreign policy. Murtala Mohammed came and said, Africa has come of age, nobody will detect anything to Africa, it's capable of taking its own decision. But is it, some people believe that Nigeria would get it right at the foreign or international arena or within the Committee of Nations if back home we're all able to, let's say, charity begins at home. If we get many things right in Nigeria, everything at home, our image, the prestige, the perception, everything will change. So, what is missing in Nigeria? First of all, what do you think is Nigeria's present foreign policy thrust? The government of Tinubu.
You see, let me start with the last point you raised. Frankly speaking, I do not know the direction of our foreign policy. The reason why I said so, if Nigeria has over 100 diplomatic and consular posts abroad, and for 2 years, you have not appointed ambassadors, it means that foreign affairs is not a priority.
And not just that, they said they want to match some foreign missions to save money.
When you say you want to match some, I was in the system for over 3 decades. We had closed down missions, we had opened missions, closing again. So sometimes I feel very sad that we open and close. It doesn't speak well of us. What I have thought is that we should give clear direction where we are heading to. In the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we know the direction of our foreign policy. And at that time, other countries would wait to hear what Nigeria was going to say or do.
Big brother.
Yes. But now, small African countries are challenging Nigeria.
Probably because our internal affairs are not right.
And it is simply because they say if you are a big man and you left yourself down, then everybody will just look at you with a sensitive little contempt. We don't have ambassadors who are going to represent Nigeria effectively. And not only that, we have been signing MOUs, Memoranda of Understanding, with many countries. Now, tell me, who are the people that will pursue the execution of these MOUs? If you are having chargé d'affaires is not an ambassador.
It's limited.
An ambassador can book appointment to see the foreign minister. And if need be, he can book appointment to see the head of state on behalf of Nigeria. But chargé d'affaires, the highest person you can see is a director of the department dealing with Nigeria. At most, if you are lucky, you see the permanent secretary. I served in Brazil. When you call the foreign ministry to book an appointment, the first question they ask, what is your rank? Because in the foreign service, like in the armed forces, we are conscious of our status. So you cannot go and talk to somebody that is higher than you. You have to talk to somebody that is lower or at the same level.
And so, to you now, the foreign policy in Nigeria does not exist as we are 2020.
I wouldn't say it doesn't exist. It is just that
it
is difficult for me to say where we are heading to. If for 2 years you don't have ambassadors, the countries that are supposed to host these ambassadors will say that Nigeria is not serious. I've had somebody from Foreign Affairs say that although ambassadors have not been appointed, but the chargé d'affaires and the consuls general are doing wonderfully well. I beg to disagree. If you are not ambassador, there is a limit to where you can get to. But for anybody to say that, yes, we don't have ambassadors, but the people that are manning the missions are doing very well, I beg to disagree.
And in Nigeria, especially in Abuja, we are busy. I see FCT telling high commissions or embassies that they are owing ground rent.
In fact, I discussed with some people, journalists who called me to discuss with me. I served in 9 different missions. There was never a time we got a letter that we should pay ground rent. Let me explain. When you open a diplomatic mission, we do what is called reciprocity. We give you a plot of land in our capital, and your own capital, you give us a plot of land. So we cannot ask you to pay ground rent on the property you got as exchange for what Nigeria got in those countries.
And those plots of land are treated as parts of those countries.
They are part of. If today somebody kills another person and runs into a diplomatic mission, nobody can enter that diplomatic mission.
But here we are threatening them to shut down.
According to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, diplomatic missions are inviolate You cannot violate them. So for me to read that some diplomatic missions were going to be sealed, it is something that I couldn't understand. And I believe other people who are familiar with diplomacy will find it very difficult to understand. You are asking me for ground rent, and we all know in Nigeria diplomats don't pay tax. Just it's everywhere. The diplomatic service is a universal service. What applies to Nigeria applies to other countries.
But, Excellency, one would have thought that maybe former ambassadors like you must have a kind of a body that can advise the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Tukor, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, on issues of this nature. Is it that he's over there and you people are down there or something?
That is if you will be listened to. But the most important issue to consider, anything about foreign missions domiciled in Nigeria should be conducted through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Did FCT contact the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that this is what they are contemplating doing? And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said, yes, you can go ahead. No, I don't think that happened. And you see, there are certain things that you know and you keep to yourself. But what I'm saying is that FCT should be very careful in the way and manner they handle diplomatic missions resident in Nigeria. If they are not sure, let them ask Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They will be told, be careful in handling diplomatic missions abroad so that you don't jeopardize relationship between Nigeria and those countries.
And so that you don't also destroy that reciprocal convention. Now, we're coming very close to the end of this interview, but tell us this. I'm sure viewers will want to know. You have retired and you've gone around this world, so now you relax at home. How do you relax?
Okay, I wake up in the morning, I go out, I do exercise, walking, brisk walking. 1 hour, 15 minutes. Every day, except Sunday. So, between 5:45 and 7:15 or 7:30, I'm not at home. I'm doing my exercise. So when I come back, I take my shower, I eat my breakfast. The next thing, I read the newspapers to know what is happening in Nigeria. Then I listen to the news to know what is happening around the world. So I must say I'm enjoying my retirement. I'm not being bothered like when I was in the service. You are at home in the night, they will tell you, oh, come to the office, something has happened.
Okay, so what about community service?
No, nobody now tells me.
What about community service back home in Gombe?
You know, Gombe, I go to Gombe when the need arises. You see, we are in a very precarious situation in Nigeria. If I go to Gombe, the number of people that will be surrounding me for money is unbelievable. They don't want to know that I have retired. They think what I was doing when I was in the service, I must continue doing.
So what about farming?
But
you don't go into farming?
No, I'm not doing anything. I was in the service, but I didn't touch government money. I can say it anywhere. And in fact, when the Source magazine of Comfort Obi, and I'm saying it forcefully, they wrote tissues of lies against me, accusing me of so many things. They never bothered to ask me. And it was one idiot. What is something Ogene? And I think he's in the National Assembly. And this is the kind of thing you get. Now, this man wrote nonsense against me, charging me for even gun running. Now, I got a lawyer, wrote to the Source magazine to withdraw and apologize for the false stories they wrote against me.
Did they do that?
Instead, they republished what they wrote. So I now decided to take them to court.
So how did the case end?
We went to the court. And when the case came out, I got up. I was in Pakistan then. I got up. And the lawyer of the Source magazine said he came to plead guilty. The judge asked, "You mean you wrote all these things without any scintilla of evidence?" So he asked me to go. So I booked my flight, went back to Pakistan. That was 2002. So it was one day I was reading the internet. I just saw the heading. Abuja court awarded diplomat 25 million naira punitive damages. So I read it and I found that it was about me.
So they paid?
They have not. Now, what did they do? It became a tribal matter. They even went to see the NSA, Aliyu Gusau. I want anybody that is hearing what I'm saying to contradict me, to come to you and say what I said is not true.
Well, maybe you will have to invite Victor Ogene.
Oh, yeah, you can. In fact, you know, it is not I dislike him. I hate him. I hate him for him to write absolute nonsense about me without even knowing me.
Okay.
So, as I was saying, Kofam Obi used her Igbo people and Senator Ben Obi went and reported to General Aliyu Gusau, who was NSA then. General Aliyu Gusau now called me and started pleading with me to let the matter go. I said, no. The damage done to my reputation was so much. So I will not. Eventually I said, okay. I spent money on my lawyers. I spent money on my transport money from Pakistan. Let them give me 5 million. Do you know that Comfort Obi was so cheeky as to write to my lawyer that she would pay only 1 million and that I should indicate the charity organizations she should send the money to. Is it not gross disrespect? You are asking me the money awarded me by court, that I should tell you who and who you should send the money to. No, Allah ya Isa.
Well, it is here that we have to end this edition about the veteran. We've heard him. He has told his opinions on key national issues, key international issues too that are also private to him, that of course the magazine had to malign him and he got justice. That I'm talking of Ambassador Suleiman Dahiru. I want to thank you for coming to Third Eye Africa today.
Thank you for having me, although the time is short, because I have so many things to say about my experience in the diplomatic service. Maybe another time.
Sure, we're going to invite you another time.
Thank you.
My name is Ben Sherman, and of course, we're reaching you from Third Eye Africa TV.